Well, a very good afternoon to you. I do believe that you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Many thanks for making time to be with us. This is a K24 News Cut on this 10th day of December 2024. Before the bulletin, here are your top stories. President William Ruto announces updated lending terms of the Hustler Fund, with enhanced loan limits set to depend on credit scores. Shock and grief engulfs Kathita village in Embu after an elderly woman, reportedly in her 80s, passed away under unclear circumstances. Health unions in Migori County call off their planned strike, which was scheduled to start today following productive discussions with the county government. Well, welcome to the program. I am Ian Keitani, and our sign language interpreter is Clement Mule. This is a bulletin that you can watch live across our social media platforms at K24 TV. We begin the bulletin now, and President William Ruto has announced an updated lending terms of the Financial Inclusion Fund, the government-run credit facility commonly known as the Hustler Fund. Speaking during the Hustler Fund's second anniversary celebrations at the KICC in Nairobi, Ruto said the enhanced loan limit depends on the credit score, with some borrowers getting triple or double their current limits. The president has since introduced a new loan bridge targeting good borrowers who will now access enhanced credit limits based on how good their credit history is. The Hustler Fund has been offering loans from a minimum of 500 to as high as 50,000 at an 8% prorated basis or a daily rate of 0.002%.
1.5 million people who today will have their credit limits enhanced, the highest being from 50,000 to 150,000. There is another 4 million borrowers who must be listening to me this evening. These 4 million borrowers have maybe an outstanding amount, maybe they have not paid on time, maybe they have exceeded, instead of 14 days, they are at 45 days, or they are at 30 days. If they pay, these 4 million borrowers, if they pay their outstanding, the window for them to be moved to the bridge loan, which then doubles or triples their credit limit, exists. So the 4 million people out there who have not paid their money, you have a chance. We're going to assess you. Once you pay, we're going to assess you for 2 months, and then we will graduate you to the bridge loan. We want many to come on board. As you are aware, the whole Hustler Fund intervention was to remove the penalization, the blacklisting, the condemnation of people, but to give them a chance to improve on their credit rating. And that is what we intend to achieve.
To matters health, and health unions in Migori County have called off their planned strike, which was scheduled to start today. This comes after a productive discussion with the county government, who agreed to address their concerns. The leaders from the health union have expressed satisfaction with the discussion and allowed the government to take enough time to implement their resolutions, as they emphasized on the importance of allowing a dialogue in resolving conflicts.
Mainly on 3 matters. The first one was on the matter of promotion and redesignation of staff. The second matter related to shortages or inadequacy of staffing within those cadres. And lastly was on the issue of a welfare matter relating to comprehensive health insurance coverage for the cadres of staff that I mentioned earlier. Together with my colleagues here, we have met with the officials of those unions, and arrived at what we believe is a reasonable conclusion that would help with the continuity of the delivery of services in our health facilities.
We've had clear ways forward and with clear timelines that we'll share with our members, and due to that we will give room to the leadership to implement these resolutions within the timelines, and as of that my colleague will state clearly we have our strike notice suspended so that we give room for the implementations of the resolutions that we've agreed on.
Now, shock and grief has engulfed Kathita village in Embu town after an elderly woman, reportedly in her 80s, passed away under harrowing circumstances. The destitute and ailing woman has for years been living a solitary life and at the mercy of neighbors for upkeep after her 4 children neglected and cut ties with her. Area Assistant Chief Jackson Kamau confirmed the incident, recounting how villagers discovered her unconscious in her home. Her back already infested with maggots. Despite desperate efforts to save her, she passed away as they prepared to rush her to the hospital.
Aanze kugonjeka yenyewe amekaa sana, lakini wakati alishindiwa amekwisha maliza siku 7 hivi bila kukunywa maji wala kukula chakula. Sasa wale walikuwa wakimsaidia walikuja mahali wakafika mwisho. Sasa walipofika mwisho, kwa sababu kuna ugumu wa pesa hakuna, ndio sasa wakaona sasa waita watu wake. Sasa watu wake wakati wanaambiwa wakuje kuona mama yao, wanakataa, wanarushiana. Kuna wengine wako Nairobi, kuna wengine wako Kiajokoma, kuna wengine wako Embu. Sasa kila mtu akiulizwa habari ya mama yake anasema yeye kwanza ongea na nani, mpaka ikawa sasa tuite sub chief tuone vile anaweza kusaidika.
Tukimpata kwa hali mzuri, juu alikuwa amelala, alikuwa na zile wadudu kwa mwili, vidonda. Sasa tukaanza kumuinua, tukaona amechomeka huku vidonda kwa mwili yote, ndio tukaanza kumuosha.
Now, Kenyan youth are being encouraged to enlist for the Jitume Digital Enablement Program in order to benefit from the numerous digital skills available within the digital economy space. This was the rallying call as 2 more digital hubs were commissioned in Kakamega County. Now, the Kakamega County Polytechnic and Shianda Polytechnic are the latest to be equipped with Jitume digital hubs as the government seeks to establish such facilities across the 1,450 wards in the country. This is part of the government's deliberate scheme to harness the digital economy by creating an enabling environment for e-commerce and by equipping the Kenyan youth with digital literacy.
For young people to take note of this. I'm going to rush through it really quickly. So let me look at the skills that our young people really need to upskill on. We'll look at the technical skills. I decided just to put them down. So we all have like the basic digital literacy, which is happening right there. We need to encourage most will be continuous learning. Yes. Continuous learning is important. AI is not coming to take up our job, but it will create multiple jobs.
Yes.
And the multiple jobs I'm talking about is what I've just read about. Okay. So we need to upskill in those areas.
We have established about 274 digital hubs across the country. This is one of them. And when we had conversations, our aim is to ensure we engage. We don't just launch and leave it. We want to engage with the various stakeholders. And we said wherever we travel across the country, we want to be able to have engagement through town halls. Your Excellency, this is, I think, almost the 6th town hall we are having across the country, and we'll continue to engage our youth, our stakeholders across the country and discuss opportunities in the digital space.
Now, as the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence comes to an end, various stakeholders in the civil society sector in Isiolo County have intensified campaigns to root out the vices. Speaking in Isiolo town following a well-organized anti-GBV caravan, Faith Olushiashia Omonde, Child Rights and Safeguarding Officer at Plan International, noted that the organization had brought at least 10 local community-based organizations to forge a united front in the fight against retrogressive practices like female genital mutilation, child marriages, forced marriages, and ensure that all children, especially girls, have access to basic education and live in a society that is free from any form of gender-based violence.
work with more of the prevention so that we do not have these cases of GBV being rampant, so that we have to respond. However, the SDC project will address both measures to prevent and to respond. So no, it cannot be handled in 16 days. We need the entire time, but now the ultimate goal is to get to a point where some of these harmful cultural norms are no longer embraced, and this will just come because of creating more awareness and people speaking from a point of knowledge and not ignorantly practicing some of these practices.
Tumeweza kueneza hiyo mambo ya kumaliza GBV na zile mila potovu, na pia kwa activity tu ya leo tumeongezea kuwa tunaweza kuelimisha jamii kuhusu mambo ya sera ya jinsia ambayo inatusaidia sisi kama Isiolo County na all the citizens of Isiolo. Na hiyo sera ya jinsia inalenga kila mtu, hailengi mwanamke peke yake, inalenga wazee, inalenga watoto, inalenga vijana, na pia iko na ile maudhui mbalimbali ambayo imeweka kando, ama serikali ya county imeweka kando ili kuangamiza ama kumaliza hii mambo ya dhuluma ya jinsia.
Wanawake wanadhulumu wanaume kwa njia nyingi sana. Sisi kama wana Isiolo tuko na VSLA. Na baada ya 1 year tunafanya share out. Na hiyo share out ni ile pesa walichanga ndio wanaenda naye nyumbani. Wengine wanaficha bwana zao. Na hiyo pesa imetoka kwa mfuko ya mwanaume. Si hata hiyo ni dhulma. Kuna dhulma nyingi sana.
On the same issue is that the government will deal decisively and in real time with perpetrators of gender-based violence. Speaking in Kakamega County during the official launch for a new program under the Office of the President's Advisor on Women's Rights, as the curtains come to a close on the 16 days of activism, Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi said the country would not continue condoning any form of abuse to women and children. According to Mudavadi, Kenya was following in the footsteps of countries with a bad gender-based violence record, and thus there must be steps to reverse the tide.
We embrace the call by His Excellency President William Ruto to all citizens to join him in reversing the increasing cases of femicide. We cannot continue living in a country where our girls and women are not guaranteed they will arrive safely at their destinations anytime they take public transportation or walk home. Furthermore, we cannot live in a country where our boys and girls are depressed and suffering mental health due to cyberbullying, harassment, abuse, sextortion, each time they log onto online social media portals. It is time for all Kenyans to say enough is enough. We must turn around and forge a different path that will override social and cultural stigma, lack of funding, and poor coordination of anti-gender-based violence programs.
Now, the county government of Kiambu has held an interdenominational prayer meeting, during which calls for unity among elected leaders took center stage. The county prayer meeting brought together clergy from all the denominations, including Muslims, county employees, members of the county assembly, to pray for the leadership, with Governor Kimani Wamatangi promising to stay on course to deliver his campaign promises.
Four things the seat of throne is, as long as he sought the Lord.
In every ward in the 60 wards of Kiambu County, today, there is not a single ward out of all the 60 that one can go to and not say that there are changes, that there are projects, that there are interventions that have been done by the government you elected in 2022 in August, today, that are not happening, either in education, either in water, either in infrastructure, either in energy, but we have got activities, we've got projects, we've got interventions everywhere in all the 60 wards.
Tumekuwa tukishirikiana kwa maendeleo, sisi tunapitisha budget, na pia tunaona tukienda mwaka wa 2025 pia tunataka kushikana vizuri ili tuweze kutimiza malengo mengi.
Hakuja kuwa na anga ambayo tumeshawahi shuhudia katika taifa la Kenya, kaunti zinginezo, ya kwamba marubano kati ya governor na anga ya viongozi wengine kama vile wabunge wa kaunti, na tunashukuru Mungu kwa sababu kumekuwa na ushirika.
Now, Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi secured his ministerial job at a time of great political turbulence on both the political front, state of the economy, as well as in the face of frequent blackouts. And as he marks 100 days in office, the CS in a statement says significant steps have been made in the ministry since he took over, including the signing of the $100 million facility by FDB for accelerating electrification through the last mile connectivity.
The Honorable James Opiyo Wandayi, EGH.
Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi got into office at a time when Kenyans are raising concerns over frequent power blackouts, cost of power, as well as the transition to green energy. 100 days later in office, CS Wandayi says he's made significant strides in reducing the number of national blackouts, bolstering daily running of businesses. In a statement seen by K24 TV, Kenya will soon surpass most African countries through export while tapping on the port of Mombasa. Data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics in 2022 indicated a decline in cargo volume at the Mombasa port for the first time in 5 years, attributed to the heightened competition from Dar es Salaam. Countries like Rwanda had abandoned the Kenyan route in 2008 for Tanzania. Meanwhile, while stating the developments made by the Ministry of Energy since Wandayi took over as the Cabinet Secretary, wooing back Rwanda to the port of Mombasa is currently underway, with high-level bilateral discussions progressing well towards realizing a sustained trade relationship for wet cargo movement. Further, CS Wandayi also says he's working on the stabilization of the importation arrangements for one of our largest trading partners, Uganda, through the Uganda National Oil Company, by enabling them to import their full petroleum products requirement through the port of Mombasa. They will now ship in all product grades independently, which has greatly enhanced our two governments' working relationship. The Kisumu oil jetty was something that the CS prides himself with, saying that the facility has successfully loaded and exponentially improved volume of 146 million litres since July 2024 to date through 40 vessel voyages. This is 28% more than what was loaded in total from December 2022 to June 2023 of 114 million litres loaded in just 4 months. In 100 days, Opiyo Wandayi says he's been able to unlock the financing and implementation of 35 megawatts or power geothermal power plant in Menengai, facilitated the approval on change of ownership from Or Power to Kaishan, the utilization of insurance risk guarantee, which facilitated the project to reach financial close and hence commencement of works on the ground. CS Wandayi says he's been able to unlock the processing of tenders for implementation of Kenya Off-Grid Access Project, a World Bank-funded project for electricity access to undeserved counties, for implementation of 114 solar mini-grids spread over 12 counties, solar installation to 343 public institutions spread over 14 counties. Further, in the 100 days, the ministry has been able to facilitate the signing of 83 million euros concessional loan agreements with the African Development Bank Group and French Treasury to support the construction of the National Control Center by KETRACO, as well as facilitated the signing of construction contracts.
That particular story takes us for a breather. See you on the other side of this break.
Have you watched K24? We would love to hear from you. Send us your feedback on what you like and what you don't like and why. You can use any platform to reach us. We can be reached on Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp.
Baada ya kutumia damu ya Yesu na mwili wa Yesu Kristo, shine, shine, shine. You shine and you shine, and just